at the name, but our small party of brave adventurers now know the truth. A coven of hags use the machinery inside to grind the bones of small children into a fine white powder. That bone dust is then used as an essential ingredient for their dream pastries, a highly addictive treat that grants the victim a few hours of blissful escape from this dreadful land. Groth, Morty, and Ismark managed to drive 2 of the hags out of the Old Bonegrinder with the aid of their new companion, Pick, and saved 3 children who were kept there in the process, including fair Gertruda from Barovia Village. Unknown to the poor abused girl, her mother is long dead. She was torn apart by wolves in her own home, and her body was burned in a mass grave behind the burgomaster's mansion. Gertruda has nowhere to return to. The other children, Freek and Myrtle, also have no interest in returning to parents that would so easily give them away to monsters. These fortunate children have been rescued, and the old windmill will grind no more bones, for now. But all good deeds come with a heavy price in Barovia. Irina was taken by Morgantha to Castle Ravenloft, and Ismark now travels alone down a dark road to rescue her, or die in the attempt. Vasily von Holtz is still weak from his injuries, and strongly advocates a speedy return to Vallaki. The sky has turned orange, and now begins to change to a red tint of freshly spilled blood. The shadows start to lengthen and seem to reach out to those who still linger here. Night will soon fall, and the safety of Vallaki is yet another full day of travel. The options are limited, and time is pressing. What will you do next, brave adventurers?
Pick's gonna sneak and hide.
Sneak and hide? There's a lot of shadows.
Sounds
Totally
good.
do that.
Are we on the move now, or are we just still packing up at the...
You have finished your short rest. You've sorted through the discarded gear that Ismark left behind. You've treated Vasily's wounds, had a bit of a powwow, and you need to decide where you're going to spend the night and if there's anything else you would like to do at the Old Bonegrinder.
Yeah, I mean, I think Groth would take care of the children first, make sure they've kind of been like given water, some kind of food, and make sure they're sticking close by.
Sure. Ismark left some extra provisions behind because the castle's not very far from your current location. So he doesn't need the full set of provisions that he had for going to Vallaki, so you have extra food and water.
Yeah, so I'm not getting any more food out of the bone grinder.
Well, there's a freshly baked equine meatloaf there, I believe.
Yeah, there is actually some horse pie.
Yeah.
Meatloaf. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at those. What were they? Ravens.
The ravens, yep. So they're a little bit distant down the hill. There's the ring of monolith stones, and the ravens are sitting on top of the stones. So you have to walk a little bit down there if you want to go stare at the ravens.
I approach cautiously. Yeah, if I've got detect magic up, can I see any kind of arcana coming from them?
From the monoliths?
More from the ravens, but yeah, and anything around generally.
Like how far away are you looking? Are you just looking from where you are right now, or are you actually walking up to them?
I guess if looking from where I was, if there wasn't anything particularly, and nothing was really standing out, I'd sort of close the distance cautiously.
Okay. Well, when you look with your detect magic vision, you see that the ravens themselves don't appear to have any radiation of magic, but the stones themselves are glowing extremely brightly to your eyes with magic. They are absolutely magical.
Okay. Can I just pull on Arcana to sort of... I'm assuming this may be used by the night hags, yeah? Or something. So I'll try and see what kind of usage they might put those to.
I believe the only one who would know of a connection between the stones and the hags would be Morty, who was outside, and he saw something.
Okay, I got a 10 on the roll, so the second one wasn't.
Okay.
So I'm just like fucking magical stones.
More.
Yep, go ahead.
As Groth goes toward the stones, I think Morty would try to stop him. Just try to motion, let him know that that's where the hags went.
How does Morty convey this message?
Feather and song.
He would run and begin pulling you, and I'm trying to think what you would call the
But yeah, I guess if Groth notices that Morty's getting a bit freaked out by something,
but
definitely be cautious.
he would kind of point to the and he would do minor image.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay. So you're going to cast an illusion of something?
Yeah, I want to cast an illusion like on top of the stones, just to kind of in the distance, so like the big red circle with like a line through it. Be like, don't go here.
Nice.
Cool.
Does that register on Groth? A big red circle with a line through it?
Yeah, he gets
over
it.
top of the
He notices that Morty's kind of getting a bit distressed, so it's kind of enough to put him on edge anyway. And he sees that big. Oh, okay. I got you. So no go then. No go.
But I will say though, you don't have to actually enter the circle to still see, like to still do your nature check with the ravens or to examine the stones. Obviously, you could see them better if you entered the circle, but you could still just stand outside the circle and see a bit of what's going on there if you wanted to get closer. But again, you don't have to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess take a couple of steps. I kind of, but I guess there's no magic coming off the ravens. I was kind of more worried that the hags had summoned them, or they were kind of like, I don't know, they're sort of, what's it called, familiars or something like that. But if they don't seem magical in that sense, then yeah, I think I'd probably sort of stop where I am and start heading back if it's looking dangerous, because we're almost TPK'd by the hags, so I probably won't want to be like wandering around too carelessly into there. Okay.
Morty suggests that we send the children in first.
Into the circle.
Groth maybe doesn't understand the message. Yeah, the children are our priority. You're right, Morty. You're right. We've got to put them first. Aye.
I think Pick would come out of stealth here again and be like, boss, time's moving on. We got to figure out what we're doing for the night.
Yep.
Is he talking?
I
was talking to the boss guy.
Oh, Vasily? Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you were like talking to each other still. Okay. In that case,
I don't care who these guys are.
Yeah, sure.
Mostly.
So, Vasily, again, he mentioned this before, but he'll say again that the two options as he sees them are, well, there's three options, but two realistic options that he sees are, one, you can stay in the Bonegrinder and hope that the hags don't come back before morning. Or two, he said there is a traveler's campsite that's near the shore of the lake at the bottom of the valley. He said you won't be able to reach Vallaki today, but you can at least get that far. It'll be nightfall by the time you get there, but you can at least get there. And the other option is you make your own camp somewhere along the way, off the side of the road, or on a hilltop or something like that.
Well, whatever you decide, sir, we got to do it quick.
Yeah, Dev, can you ping the campsite on the map?
Yep. So you guys are right here, and the campsite's right here. So it'll be still pretty late by the time you guys get there. It's gonna take a while. It'll be full night, like probably. I don't know. I'm guessing like it could take up to 3-4 hours to get there. So if it's like 8 p.m. now, it'll be like anywhere between 10 and midnight by the time you get there.
Cool. Yeah, Groth's in favour of sort of sticking to an established camp site because, with any luck, it's established because people don't get murdered there all the time.
Yeah, like any other topographical places, like you guys could possibly camp. There's a hilltop here. There's another hilltop here, and then there's the trees. Like there's this big set of woods here you could hide in, and this smaller patch of woods here to the east that you could hide in. But you won't get much further than the lake tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So Groth said maybe let's head towards there, and if we find that it's taking too long, then we can maybe check out the site on the way. But trying to put as much distance between us and the windmill.
Since Morty doesn't have a mount anymore, he doesn't want to go that far.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Did Vasily have a horse or anything like that?
He did have a horse.
Killed, and then became sausage.
And then it became meatloaf.
Yeah, he's still got a horse.
There's a horse.
It also became glue, if you recall. It was also ground up in the old Bonegrinder and became glue.
That too.
It's meatloaf and glue right now.
Yeah.
It's just one of those precious gifts.
That's right. Keeps on giving.
Yeah.
All right.
So how does Morty
scout.
How does Morty exactly communicate his disinterest in going somewhere? Like, does he just sit down and refuse to walk when the others try to walk somewhere, or what does he do?
Yeah, he acts kind of like a child, like his arms crushed and like coughing, and then he tried to walk through. Like he puts his arms up, wanting Groth or Pick to pick him up.
Yeah, Groth's already picked up. I'll be carrying Myrtle at least, the little 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those two kids like never leave your side, basically.
Yeah,
they do not trust Morty at all, and they're not familiar enough with Pick yet. They just met him now when they came out of the Bonegrinder, so they've only spent about an hour with Pick.
So Pick attempted to slink off into the darkness there, but apparently he didn't do a very good job. So it's possible that Morty walks right up to him. What do you want, little guy?
My passive perception isn't that great, but I'm just like looking angrily at Myrtle, doing what I can to not cast vicious mockery on her.
And the more that you like stare at the two kids, the more that they're just becoming like they're hiding behind Groth, putting him like physically between the two of you, and they're just trying to avoid any kind of eye contact with you, and just sticking close to Groth. And Gertruda, you know, she's pretty quiet. She's just basically vacant. She doesn't really try to do anything. And you think that she's still a little bit traumatized, and you know it hasn't fully sunk in that she's free or that she can do anything that she wants to do. So she's just kind of being quiet. She's watching everyone with wide eyes, watching all the exchanges with not really any expression.
I think. Okay, let me do a quick perception check. I want to see if I noticed like the interplay between Morty and the kids.
Okay.
Probably not.
I'm sure, yeah, why not? I mean,
okay.
You're all just standing around, so it's not like it would be hard to see that.
So seeing that the kids are kind of afraid of him and that Morty's kind of already dressed like semi-clownishly, Pick's going to use his disguise kit and sleight of hand and try to just do like a quick job on Morty to make him look like a funny, happy clown.
Nice. Awesome.
So which do you want first, the disguise or the sleight of hand?
I'm thinking just the back of his head.
Yeah, I think sleight of hand first to see if you even get away with it, and then if you pass that, then we'll do the disguise to see what you actually put together.
I don't think I
25.
I wouldn't have stopped him.
So you can do anything you want to
Oppose?
Morty unless Josh strongly objects to that.
You think drawing dicks in my forehead? And...
Well, let's find out what the role is with the disguise kit. Let's see how well I disguise you as a happy clown.
But in any kind of PvP situation, I always say like the final veto goes to the owner of the character. But let's see what happens.
Oh, how do I roll that? What is the disguise? Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You can do anything you want and make him look like anything you want.
So the intention was already there, so I won't change that. But I basically, like, without him even noticing, kind of thing, like, you know, look over here, kind of. He looks like the happiest, friendliest kids clown that you've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you just do that thing like touch him on the elbow. He's looking down. You put something else in. Oh yeah. I was distracting him.
yeah. So I was gonna say, run us through this. Like, how do you so expertly avoid his attention for him to notice that this is happening to him, and then the detail
okay,
of
well,
what you make him into.
I've got this chalk, and I kind of grind a little bit of it up in my hands, and I go, Morty, you're into magic, right? And I go like that, basically just put a bunch of chalk in his eyes for a couple seconds. I'm like, oh, sorry, I screwed up that trick. And then you're like, I'm patting him down, trying to rub his face out, kind of thing. But really, I'm just putting the makeup and the disguise on him. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, little buddy. I feel terrible about that. And then I give him a deck of cards that I'm holding. Oh, sorry, pal, take those.
How does Morty react to all that? You don't know what he's really doing, but you know he's doing at least this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that Morty would catch a big deal about it.
Mm-hmm.
But upon the cards, when Morty gets the cards,
Mm-hmm.
He's going to try to do a magic trick with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, could I roll performance?
Sure. I'd love to see it. I hope it's another critical.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good. All right. So what do you do with these cards?
And so I'm just I hold it out and I have like the kids pick a card.
Yep.
And then I shuffle it, put together, and then I begin pulling their cards out of strange places, like behind their ear, out of Groth's butt. I just keep showing them what their card is.
Groth's like, you might want to put that one back in the deck.
Okay, and just for the viewers at home here, I did receive an image from Ryan here of what he wants. What he wants. I'm gonna try to make this happen. It's a pretty small image. I'm just gonna load it really quick.
I just randomly chose one. Really.
Yeah, it's pretty small, so it's not gonna be full size, but there it is. All right. So that's what Morty now looks like to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Groth's like, kids, come on, I told you, he's all right. He's all right. You just got to get used to his sense of humor.
And oh my God. And you see, like, at first the kids are still a little bit afraid, but because it's just so comical, even like they still kind of crack a smile, and with Groth's reassurance, they kind of peek around and they giggle a little bit and seem to relax a little bit. Their fear of Morty has definitely gone down, and
everybody's happy now.
You just see her kind of look with that blank expression. She looks at Morty and she doesn't register any difference. Like before, she wasn't afraid of him, and now she's not like laughing at him either.
Yeah, Morty is a bit angry that she's not giving him a better response when he picked her card.
What card did you give her?
This was the one that I pulled out of Groth's butt, so this was a 2.
Number 2.
Yeah. No, honestly, the cards in D&D are from 3 Dragon Monty. I don't know way too much. And so, probably horrible. But
Oh no.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So so you give her the card, and she kind of just, you hold up the card to her, and she just looks at your hand and looks at the card, and at first she's not really sure what the point is. Like she hasn't had a lot of exposure to magicians or card tricks or anything like that. She doesn't really even know the context of what's going on right now. This is some kind of game or performance. But she knows you're giving her something, so she just takes the card and then just holds it in front of her. It doesn't let go of it. Just holds it really tight, kind of bending it a little bit.
Morty would like to sleight of hand to get back.
If you want to take it back secretly, sure, go for it.
Because you don't want to fail a strength check against a 7-year-old girl, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A traumatized
girl. Yeah. I very quickly trade it with one like the useless Joker cards, or like one of the like cards that no one actually uses in games.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's holding like a very strange-looking Joker.
And actually, you see that she looks down at it, and she kind of blinks for a second, and maybe she knows that the card is different, but she doesn't really put it together that you switch them. But she looks at it, and she seems to be kind of happier with this one. And you see her fingers just kind of like touch the hair of the Joker on the card, like she's kind of just petting the hair, and she just kind of like whispers a little bit to it, puts the card in front of her face and kind of just whispers to it. And she just looks like a little bit of a smile on her face.
Do I hear what she says?
Not really.
Alright.
It's you're not even sure, like she's speaking, legible words even.
I have a cantrip.
Okay.
I have message, which I can whisper something to somebody, and then they can whisper something back.
That's awesome. That's a fantastic cantrip.
And I'm wondering if I can use it not to say anything to her, or maybe to make it look like I'm speaking through the Joker on the card. Like, I don't know if I need to roll deception or anything for that. But
well, what does the spell say? Does it say that people know that it's you whispering to them, or they just hear a whisper? Or how do you interpret that?
The target, and only the target, hears a message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear.
So she's going to hear, so fundamentally anyway, she's going to hear a whisper of your voice saying something. So you can do that, for sure.
So I think I would, in a happy clown voice, like, "Hey there, how you doing?"
Okay, I want some kind of roll for this, because I want to see if this actually comes out as happy clown voice, if this comes out as creepy clown voice.
Like the Batman voice.
Yeah.
What was that one of South Park, Mr. Hanky?
Yeah. Or like the It clown.
Persuasion, performance, deception.
Deception, because you're trying to trick her into believing that there's a happy clown talking to her, and it's the card.
14.
Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So we'll say like she believes enough that there was a whisper from this card in some kind of voice that sounds different from your own. So she doesn't recognize that it's you. And you see her just startle for a second and look at it, and she just kind of smiles, and she hugs the card to her chest and just keeps it there and like covers it with both her hands, like she's not gonna like give it back to you. She looks at you like, don't try to take it back from me. It's mine now.
All right, but she doesn't whisper back to it.
What did you say exactly with the whisper?
I asked her how she was doing, or if anything's wrong. Where did the mean hag touch you? Just typical question.
That's a good answer.
Typical questions. Yeah.
And she puts the card close to her face, and she says, "Everywhere." Not in that kind of way. Don't make it worse than it is, Josh. It's already a bad situation for the kid. Don't make it worse.
Yeah. Anyway, if Groth kind of hears a whispering, he'd be like, "I know it's in a whisper that only you can hear."
Yeah,
cool.
You wouldn't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you don't think she means like in a sexual way. You just think like they've done a real number on her. Like they've beaten her, they've abused her psychologically. You know, she literally just means everywhere. There's not like just one place where they did something or one part of her where they abused her. Would
Morty maybe realize that some of her psychological abuse of being stuck there for so long is kind of like his from being stuck in the death house so long?
Sure. Yeah, you can make that.
Let me roll insight.
Roll an insight for each personality you've developed.
Yeah,
roll insight. 13. Yeah.
13. Okay, so yeah, you think for sure that it's partly because she was trapped in there, and you also get the impression that she was like tortured in a way, like they did things to her as well, differently from what they did to the other kids were kept in boxes, but she was kept up in the attic, and even the other kids said that the women were doing things to her. So you feel like she's been kind of tortured or put through some kind of process that was worse than what happened to the other two kids. The other two kids were just held as captive and fed a lot of food to try to fatten them up before they were killed.
After realizing this, Morty would kind of stop his magic show and stop complaining and being angry at the kids, even though the kids can't see his angry face. His makeup is so good. And he'd kind of just quietly begin walking like parallel with Gertruda, but kind of far away, not so close to Strahd or her, but kind of a few feet away, just keeping his eye on her.
Sure, and give me a history check too for a second. Let's see what you know about hags. Let's see because you're a lore bard, so you have a lot of
11.
11? Okay. So you don't know enough with that to know like what kind of hags these were, but you know that hags in general, their true form is very ugly and they worship ugliness. So you know that a pretty child, especially because as you all know, Gertruda is very pretty for her age, remarkably so, like Irina's level, and you know that typically hags would single her out because of that, and they would absolutely want to corrupt her in some way, destroy that beauty if they could. So that's what you know from your lore of just hags in general and covens and things like that.
All right.
So you know that she was singled out because of her appearance. They hate that. The hags hate that. They want to destroy beauty. Okay.
All right.
Pick is tapping his non-existent sundial.
Well, we were doing this while walking.
But you see that Gertruda, though, when you guys do eventually set out, you'll see that because of this exchange with Morty, that Gertruda is kind of actually like closer to you now. Like she's kind of like walking closer to you and kind of following along behind you. Not to the same extent that the other two kids are like sticking with Groth, but you can see she just kind of feels a little bit more comfortable with you than she did before. And she's kind of interested in what you were doing. So you're kind of fascinating to her more than the other two guys. So are you guys going to do anything else before you set out?
I'm going to go into stealth and lead off.
All right.
Terrible rolls for stealth.
What'd you get?
13.
13? Okay. So do you guys have any special marching order? Like Pick is going to go off ahead. How far ahead are you going to go?
15,
like last time? 15 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys do any other special preparations for when you're on the road?
No, I just sort of divided all the rations and stuff up in the backpacks. I might have given Freek a couple of little bits to carry, or given him a job to do to keep him sort of occupied. And I'd ask the silly Van Holtz to sort of walk in front of me, because I'm carrying one of the kids and I got one nearby, so I don't want to take point.
Yep, sure. Okay, so he's still, he's got his bandages on and everything, but and he's not much of a kids person. It's clearly like not his area of expertise, but he has no problem just keeping an eye on one of them, and just, keeping the kid nearby while you guys are walking. But he doesn't really try to bond with the kid or anything like you've been doing, or that Morty's been doing with Gertruda. He's just kind of like tolerating this and waiting to get back to relaxing.
Yeah, if anything, I just want him walking ahead a little bit, really. Sort of, if something, if there's any danger coming, like he can at least be like first
victim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be like.
You can see anyway that he's, when you guys are walking, he's also like alert, and he's not making much conversation because he's like really intently watching the woods, because the trees are pressing in still, like everywhere you've been traveling. This road is passing through the forest and going around these hills and everything, and the trees are tall, the canopies come over top, and there's still like mist-shrouded dense foliage, and you hear sounds and things like that don't match with the level of breeze that you feel on your faces and stuff like this. So it's a very creepy atmosphere, especially the more the sun goes down and the darker it gets. You can see he's really tense. He does not like being on the road at night, like most Barovians. It's not wise. So he's foregoing conversation for mostly just trying to stay alert and just always like watching around, left, right, up in the sky, checking. He'll even like turn back to make sure like nothing's following you guys on the road, that kind of thing. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think for now, like sort of, if keep talking to the kids a bit, but sort of, not in a sort of a soft voice, because they don't obviously make too much noise or anything that we need to. And I'm assuming they're pretty tired as well by now. So yeah, for sure. They're definitely tired. The two other children, Freek and Myrtle, and even Gertruda as well, they've been in captivity, so they've atrophied somewhat, and they're not used to long walks. So they're definitely exhausted, and they're just focusing on keeping moving, but they're too scared of what's going on to make any kind of protest, so they're just soldiering on with you guys. But yeah, you continue traveling down the road, which is really just a muddy path, and it winds its way, as I said, through these mist-shrouded forests down into the valley, where you see the large lake and a town just to the west of it, off in the distance. And the woods are silent, but except for these strange noises that don't match the wind that stirs. But the light fades, and you're walking in darkness as you descend into the valley. But you do eventually come to the lake. So, one sec. Where's the lake? See, the lake is at the foot of the mountain. Everything is covered in mist. Even you see mist across this lake. The water is perfectly still and dark, and it just reflects the stars and the black clouds overhead like a monstrous mirror. You've been walking for about 4 hours to get this far, so you're definitely really exhausted and very tense. You're strung out from just being so tense for 4 hours, checking everything around you. But there's a short side trail that leaves the road, and it meets the shore of the lake. You see there's a natural series of large boulders that provide a barrier against any kind of chill wind and concealment from the main road. So even with your back to the boulders, you could still have a clear view of the lake. You see the remains of a campsite that's been well used by other travelers, and there's a tidy fire pit, like a ring of stones around that are built up like with a deep pit. And you can even spot some leftover firewood that's piled under one of the arching boulders. So that's where you guys currently are. So it is well into the night. The sun is down. It is dark.
How many hours are there until daylight?
I'm going to say at least 6.
All right. Pick will look around the campsite and say, well, I'm not feeling very tired at the moment, so I'll take first watch. If you guys want to set up camp, I'll start working a perimeter. I'll wake up the next person in 2 hours, whoever you choose to be.
Looking at Pick, would I assume he's got dark vision?
You could assume that, but you would be mistaken.
But he doesn't have any pointy ears.
Yeah, because if it's still a bit of fading light, I mean, Groth's got dark vision and that. She's like, oh, you know, I'll take first watch. Because I guess by like 2, it's like dead of night then, isn't it?
It's dead of night, yeah. It's like midnight basically right now. It's full night, and there's these dark clouds overhead, and you can see like these pale stars where there's these small breaks in the clouds, and then you're just looking at this huge lake that's with perfectly still water. You barely even hear any lapping on the shore. It's almost like eerie, and mist just dances along the top of the water.
Pick would kind of sidle over to Groth and say, look, reality is, yeah, you might be able to see better than me in the dark, but you're the only one that's going to be able to put these kids down. And looking at the time, that seems to be the thing that needs to be taken care of first. So why don't you do that, get them in, get all the camp set up, and you take the next shift. We'll have Vasily end the night. I'm not sure about the little one.
It sounds like a plan. I'll sort of slap you on the shoulder and it'll start sort of giving Freak some orders like, hey boy, you know how to make a fire. Grab some wood for the morning. Get it?
Yes, I do, sir. I helped my dad with that before.
Good lad.
Backstab. No, just kidding.
And you can see, like, you know, he really wants to be helpful. He's super grateful for what you guys have done, and he does, you know, he sees that his sister's, or it's not really, yeah, it's his sister, and he sees that his sister's a little bit scared still. So he just wants to be kind of a good big brother to her. So he's, you know, he wants to help out. He wants to be a, you know, good boy, and so he takes your. I'm assuming you give him a flint and steel or to make the fire.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to make it? I check with Pick first. Like, do you think fire's all right at this time, or lights out?
I think you should just put the lights out and go to bed.
So I'll be like, you know, just drag the wood for the morning, and then we'll put our head down. And if Gertruda's kind of standing about, I'll try and pass Myrtle off over to her, and be like, could you help Myrtle get ready for bed? I'll get some blankets and bedroll.
Okay, is this like when you first arrived, or you guys been basically just scouting around and doing some stuff for a few minutes?
But yeah, I guess we've checked out the boulders, found the wood, seen the view of the lake, and yeah, we've, you know, done a quick perimeter check, had a look around the sort of the campsite.
Yeah, in that time I would drop into stealth again and then do perception as quick as possible. As soon as that talk with Groth is done.
Okay, so you're just going to scout the perimeter of the camp?
Yeah, 19.
19 for both, looks like?
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
And like wherever's kind of, you know, Groth would check the rocks out, whatever looks sort of seems the most like securest kind of corner or most sheltered corner, we'd sort of start putting out some of the bedding and stuff for the kids there and try and get them kind of busy and working, keep their mind on something.
Yeah, you see, like, you know, Myrtle's just kind of, yeah, she's just kind of like following you around and just kind of sitting up to the side, just watching everything, looking around fearfully. The Freak, as you said, he's trying to help out wherever he can. When he tries to find things that need to be done, and he tries to help. You know, some of it is actually helpful, and some of it's not. It's just him like trying to be useful, but it's not really accomplishing much. But you appreciate it anyway, I guess. And
yeah, and I guess I say to like Gertruda and hey, Myrtle and all, like, oh, you know, sleeping under the night sky. It's nice to be outdoors, eh?
And yeah, they say, well, we don't usually go out of the village very often, but it's too dangerous out there. But sometimes we like to go when we can for festivals or in the daylight. It's the first time to sleep outside at night.
Okay, Groth would be like, this is a safe spot. You know, look, this is a campsite. Lots of people come out here for picnics and, you know, a nice evening out. It's a lovely view. Look at the lake. It'll just be kind of just trying to just chat and keep him distracted while he's getting the.
And Myrtle the monsters won't find us here? They won't take us back, will they?
Ah, no monsters.
I don't want to go back in the box.
There'll be no more boxes for you.
And
I picture Morty at this time walking up with a box.
he's like making a box. He's like cutting up some wood and nailing things together with his horse glue, putting things together.
I need shelter.
Now that Artie's gone, I'm making a new Jack in the Box.
Right.
It's going to be a Myrtle in the box.
Right. But getting back to your stealth and perception, pick. You do. I'm assuming you just do a quick perimeter run around the perimeter, stealthily and carefully, but checking everything, and you see that there's nothing immediately around here. There's just the shoreline continues, and it's kind of rocky and muddy in various parts. You see a little bit, depending how far down you go, you do see like a vague dark shadow of like a kind of old rowboat that's been beached there. But it's a little bit down the shore. You'd have to like go pretty far from the camp to actually check it out. But you can see that it's there, and you make a note of it. But as you circle around the camp itself, you see that it's a pretty safe spot. It does have these big boulders, and then it has the trees, and it has a clear view of the lake. So you feel like pretty concealed from the main road. But at the same time, you can also see the lake too. So you feel like you've got a good position, and there's no immediate threats that you can detect.
Okay, Pick would try
nothing either that like kind of jumps out at you either.
Yeah, you could be looking for a place to get like basically like the high view. So whether that's on top of one of the boulders or up a tree or whatever it is, that'd be part of the perception that he's looking for as well. And I'm more than happy to attempt to parkour up the tree if you, or the rocks if you need me to.
You can do either one. You can go up on top of one of the boulders, or you can climb one of the trees. Basically, what would be
the height difference? Like, how big are these boulders?
The tree is definitely higher than the boulder.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. These
just
are
to remind
broken large rocks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's parkour our way up a tree.
Okay.
22.
Nice. Yeah. So you just run. You sprint up the tree. No problem. And you find a good spot where you can see down into the camp. You can see the shoreline, and you can see down the trail a little bit, but you can't actually see the road because it's kind of like a side trail. So, but you can at least see if someone's coming down the trail to your camp. You can see what's going on in the camp, and you can see the immediate shore that's nearby.
Okay. I should probably then, as a thing, I'll re-stealth while I'm there too.
Okay.
It's normal. Sleight of hand. Sorry. 17.
Okay, yeah. So you just nestle yourself in there. How long are you going to stay there?
About 2 hours.
First watch? 2 hours?
Yeah. For 6 hours to light, then 2 hours.
Okay. So 2 hours goes by, and nothing really threatening happens. It just kind of continues as it is. You there's this chill breeze, especially as you're high up in the tree and you're on the shore of the lake now. So there's this like colder kind of breeze that's coming off the lake, and the mist is moving still, but the water doesn't really move that much. It still looks like a flat sheet of glass, black glass, and nothing else happens. And so
I'd like to deceive the lake.
The lake can't even see you.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna work my way down, and I guess in the conversation I talked with Groth earlier that he'd be next, so I'll make my way over to him, and not knowing how he wakes up or anything like that, I'll use a branch and kind of poke him in the foot a couple times from a fair distance.
Yeah, he's just kind of like pawing it a few times. He's kind of like half a little muttered growl. Then he eventually like comes to. He kind of just frowns at you for a moment. You see his like jaw start to tighten, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Nightbreeze,
Your
time
turn.
already, eh?"
Your turn. He'll just pull the hood up, lay right down, and just straight to sleep.
Just sort of stretch it out, and he might ask you like, "See anything of interest?"
All clear.
Sounds good to me. Again, I won't be climbing up any trees or anything, but if there's a sort of a boulder to scrabble up on, but I'll stay close to the camp, you know, within like 10 foot, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's a slightly raised area, but I'm not going to be trying to. I'll stay within like 10 to 15 foot of the children.
Do you check on them or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming I would have just like bunked down next to them anyway, sort of thing. So as I got up, I'd have seen that they're all right.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Morty's got a knife in one of them.
Where's Morty? Where's the children? That's the priority one.
11 on perception.
11?
Yeah.
Okay, you see that the Freek and Myrtle are still just sleeping in their bedrolls like you saw before, but you see Gertrude is sitting up. Gertruda, sorry. She's sitting up. And she's got her back turned to you, and she's kind of like whispering something again. But you can't see her or anything else that's going on. Just she's got her back to you.
If I've noticed that, can I move a bit closer and try and like do another perception check to specifically listen to what she's saying?
Mm-hmm. To listen to what she's saying?
Yeah. No, it's 10.
Yeah, you just hear that she's kind of whispering, but you can't make out the words.
I've only got one ear. I'm like, hey, Gertruda.
Do you approach her, or are you just still watching her from where you are?
I'm assuming I'm pretty close, so I'll take another sort of step to her. Hey, Gertruda, pet, you cannot sleep. You need some water.
So as you walk up to her, you see that at first she doesn't react to you or seem to hear you, but she's sitting there and she's kind of got her hands in the dirt, in the mud, and she's kind of just kneading it like dough, and all these like worms are coming out of the dirt and the mud that she's mixing in her hands, and she's just kind of taking them and she's just eating them like one by one, like kind of gummy worms, like just eating them like this and chewing them and kind of whispering something, and then she eats them. And when you approach and you talk to her, she just like stops for a second, like you see like her body kind of jerks a bit, and if you can see her face, you can see like she blinks for a couple seconds, and like she's got like mud and dirt all over her mouth and all over her hands and everything, and she just kind of looks up at you with that same blank expression.
Gertruda, pet, you got your new dress all muddied up. I'll sort of reach around for a bit of a rag or something, pour some water on it, and like I might move to sort of like help her clean her face, but if she's going to react, I'll sort of like offer it to her instead.
No, she doesn't like move away from you or resist you.
Okay.
She lets you. She kind of keeps staring at you with that blank expression. Just lets you like clean up her face, clean up her hands.
Yeah, so I'll sort of just be wiping her around, and I guess if she's sitting there with all, sort of kneeling on the floor with her hands in this dirt and all the worms coming up, I'll try and at least like gently take her by the elbow and like raise her on her feet and move her away from that foulness.
Mm. Sure, and she seems to not even remember that she did that. It's like she doesn't even like pay attention to that anymore. She doesn't look down at it. Like almost if she doesn't even remember that happened.
Was she eating the worms? Did you say?
Yeah.
Or just put yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just sort of like wash her down, wipe her down or all that. Maybe offer her some water because you don't want to just eat worms. And I've just sort of got off for bed. So unless Pig actually took my sleeping spot, I'll maybe like drag her bedding over a bit away from that area and set her down. Try and find a doll if that's about. Mm-hmm. You're like, I just got just a couple, a few more hours till morning. Did you try and get some sleep? You're not tired. You had a very long walk today.
And she looks at you for a second. She's just sleepy. So sleepy.
All right, you take a rest. You take a rest.
So tired.
Just a little further tomorrow, and we'll be at Valaki. But nice bread, hot food. You'll be able to take a good proper rest there.
And she just kind of smiles and she curls up in the bedroll and just almost like instantly just falls asleep. And you hear like the deep rhythm of her breathing, and like she just like almost instantly went into a deep sleep.
I'd like to do an insight check on what I saw, like a sort of state, to see if that was just like, see if I can figure if that was just more shock kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No, fuck knows.
You have no fucking idea what's going on with this kid.
I'm like, fucking kids. I used to play around in the dirt and eat a few fucking bugs when I was
she's troubled, right? Yeah, you know she's troubled, but you don't really know what's going on at all. Just, you're not sure, like, is this, like, is her mind broken, or something else is going on, or you have no idea, right?
I'll do a nature check as well, because you said, like, a bunch of worms were coming up from the floor.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm pretty sure. Oh, fucking. Again, I've lived underground a lot. I'm like, yeah.
There's a lot of worms.
Maybe worms come up like that. She's got a talent. She's got talent. Look at that.
I'll tell you what. Give me a perception check. Hopefully, this one works for you.
Or investigation if you're
intelligence. Yeah, give me investigation. Actually, that's better. Yeah, give me investigation because you're manually.
I don't have many.
Okay, forget it. Just go back to sleep.
Groth has just no fucking idea. Yeah,
I just woke up and I'm dealing with this shit. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're just confused by this whole thing. You're like, well, whatever. I'll sort it out in the morning.
Yeah, but like with that in mind, I'll definitely sort of keep within visual range of the kids and that, because I don't want to getting up and like moving about. So wherever I take my kind of lookout position, I'll try and get a view, but I'll make sure I've still got a clear line of sight in their area.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I guess after doing all that, I'll just do a general perception check to look around, just check the sort of surroundings.
Okay.
Hey, finally got it.
Nice. Okay.
Statistically, that was going to happen soon.
Yeah, so we'll say this perception check is basically your alertness for the entire period of your watch. And pretty much like in Pick's case, you don't see anything special happening. You see pretty much the same thing that he saw, just this really calm, quiet, but eerie woods on the shore of a lake. There's no, you don't see any worms crawling around. You don't see any threats. And you keep an eye on the children, and you don't see Gertruda get up again. She just sleeps deeply for the remainder of your watch, which is 2 hours, I'm guessing?
No, I'll take a longer one, I think, because the other options for watches, I'm not really... So how long do you need for a long rest?
8 hours.
Yeah, so we're not going to get a proper long rest anyway. So I guess I'll take... What time was it when I started? 2 a.m.
So at 4. Didn't you? Or was it like
you guys got there at midnight,
4?
and then Pick took a 2-hour watch. And we'll just say, like, you guys made camp pretty quickly. You didn't really, fart around or do anything, because it's pretty dark anyway. There's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, I guess I'll sort of do it till at least like 5 or something, until like it's starting to get a little bit of you can see dawn starting to come in a little bit. The sky's not like pitch black; it's getting a little bit lighter shades of purple, kind of thing, dark shades of purple.
Barovia is basically surrounded by mountain peaks. It's in a giant valley by itself that has other mountains in it. To see the actual sun, it's going to take longer than it would, just like if you lived anywhere in the mountains. But you still see, though, that the sky does get lighter.
Yeah.
You can see the lightning of the sky.
I want the pitch black to sort of fade away, and then I'll give what's his face? I'll give Holtz a shake, and I'll sort of. What's Morty doing? Is Morty sleeping or? Is he?
Yeah, Morty will wake up for last watch, but.
Morty's getting his full rest, getting all the spell slots back.
Yeah, I'm also like, well,
guys.
I refresh on a short rest, so I'm like, I'll be a bit tired, but like.
Yeah. So that means basically Pick and Groth will only have a short rest till and Morty, who I'm guessing officially has slept the entire time, he'll have a long rest. Unless you wake up for something else.
You don't have to quote-unquote sleep all 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just vanishing, not like doing anything. But yeah, Morty could have full rest through together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember reading about that it doesn't actually mean sleep, it just means inactivity, a period of inactivity. So
I mean, if you two guys are having short rest, you can have the D6 if you need it for the Song of Rest.
Okay.
No, that's fine. We'll go with the period of inactivity. We'll see you guys basically get rested.
Yeah, because I think Groth would be thinking like we got not too long a push onto Valaki, so we can have a proper rest then. But for now, he's got to make sure that.
No, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You can have your long rest as long as you guys stay till full dawn. Then it's basically we'll just say it's equivalent of a long rest.
Cool.
Yeah, after like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, or 5 or 6, Morty might wake up. And then just mess around with his tinker tools, breaking apart his whistle and making something new.
And you see, when you wake up, you see that Vasily's been woken up already by Groth, and Groth is asleep, Pick is asleep, and Vasily's just leaning back with his back against one of the boulders. He's in the camp. He's not really up top. He's too weak and injured still to go climbing trees or anything like that. But he's in the camp, and he's got a view of the trail. He's got a view of the lake. And he's sitting with his back to the boulder, and he's awake and keeping watch.
Actually, I did kind of forget how messed up Vasily got last.
Yeah, he got like slammed against the stone wall, and then slammed down into the ground after that. So technically, he's got broken bones, but then you guys did some cure stuff on him, or I think
it's okay.
Pick just did a medicine check, didn't you? I think you guys didn't even use magic. You just did a medicine check on him.
I don't have any magic to help him out.
Yeah, I think basically you guys just bandaged him up. So he's probably got like broken ribs or something still, and a concussion. He's just not bleeding at the moment.
He can reach his money first. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, and he's an old guy anyway, so that was a pretty rough day for him.
I'll give him a Song of Rest. She can have another D6 of bandaging.
Bandaging. Well, he is resting now, so he had his rest too, and he did his short rest and long rest stuff, same as you guys. So he's doing better, but yeah, he'll need to take a break from adventuring for a while to heal the injuries, internal injuries. All right, so the sun rises. It's a pale sun, like every sun in Barovia. It's this washed out, unbright light that just lightens the sky and peeks over the mountains. And you guys wake up when you do. And what do you want to do next?
I'd like to make the old run around camp and check things out just to make sure I feel we're in good shape.
What's the weather like? Is it sort of reasonably warm and all that?
It's pretty chill compared to what you're used to, because of the lake. There's a cold breeze. Because on the other side of the lake, you see there's the mountains, and there's another mountain, and there's even like kind of snow at the top of these peaks in the distance. So it's pretty cold wind that's just blowing down from these peaks across the lake, right at you guys.
Yeah, like I guess like if it's like a campsite, they've built up the rocks for shelter, and they'd have like a fire pit and all that. Groth would sort of spark up sort of wood pick Freek dragged over before, and just get like a small fire just to try and like have a bit of warmth, and again like a little bit of a distraction to get the kids to sit around that. Mm-hmm. Give them some food, give them some water.
Yeah, so you can do that. You can we'll just say you guys you have your equipment and supplies that you need to make that happen. You can boil some water, and you probably have some teas or something like that you can do, and your provisions. So you have your breakfast and you get warm. And
again, Groth might try to like not too as subtle as he can ask Gertruda about see if she remembers waking up in the night. You wouldn't be like, do you remember digging up those worms and eating them? He'd be like, he'd be like, do you remember getting up in the night, Gertruda?
And
you have to put your back over bed here.
And she looks at you and thinks for a second. No, I remember dreams. And then the morning. Bad dreams.
Do you want to talk about your dreams, Gertruda?
Dreams of that place, being back there again. I don't want to go back there again.
Every step we take, we'll be moving away from that place. Don't worry. Which is kind of a lie looking at the map, but still.
It feels like they're still watching me. They said they can find me anywhere.
I don't want to do a quick. Can I do an Arcana check on that one?
Sure.
See if I sort of know about. Yay, finally.
Nice.
So I'd say I've got some kind of like. I did have the monster hunter background.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I've dealt with some nasty shit before. So maybe like I'd have a sort of. If they'd said that, if she says that, I'd kind of take it seriously. So.
Yeah. Okay. With that critical, I'll tell you two things that you would know, especially as a monster hunter. You're familiar with hags and covens, like witches. You know about this kind of thing, covens and things like that. You've had to deal with them before in some capacity, or you've read text on them or something like that from the temple or the priest that you were with. So you have some lore about this as well, and you know that hags they can do that. They can do a kind of scrying. Like they can watch people, and they can watch people, especially in dreams. They have some control over dreams, and you don't think you don't detect any magic from her right now. You think she's just a normal girl right now. There's nothing no magic that's attached to her or coming off of her. But you think based on what you know with that role and as a monster hunter, you also think that they were trying to do something to her. That they were trying to perhaps expand the coven. Make a +1. And you know that how they typically do this is they do take children. They either make the children themselves. That's a whole other story. Or they take children and corrupt them to make them into hags. So you think that it's possible they might have just started this process, but they definitely weren't able to finish it.
Yeah, how long did we know that she'd been gone for? Because we did speak to Mary and all that before.
I'd have to double check that, but
that's what I hear. But I think she said that she wasn't sure because of the dream pie stuff. But that's possible. We don't know.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at what Mary said, how long ago her daughter was taken. But except for that time, you guys have been only in Barovia for about a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be a week plus a bit more from when she was actually taken from her mother. I'm guessing it's maximum, I would say 2 weeks, maximum.
Okay.
Probably she wasn't taken any longer than within a week before you guys got there. Probably a few days before you guys got there she was taken. Well, technically not taken, I mean, her mother took the dream pie.
Yeah.
And Morgantha took Gertruda. So I'll say as a monster hunter and with a critical role, you know that it takes longer than that to convert her into a hag.
Yeah.
2 weeks is not enough time. But
yeah.
you can see the signs that they started to do that, and that was their plan, and that was their intention, was to complete that process before you guys came to the Bonegrinder and interrupted that process.
Cool. Can I roll for someone else to sort of see if I know anything about how to sort of, if not sort of negate that one, at least disrupt it, or sort of, make a shield her a little bit, or is there any way to sort of reverse the effects, or if just time away from them will help, or
yeah, you know, like yeah, you don't have to roll for that. It's all part of the same knowledge you have. You just know that definitely the most important thing is keeping her away from them. That's like priority one. Is she has to be separated from their influence, and the things that they were doing to her have to stop. And of course, it's going to also take time and treatment. She's also got psychological damage because of what they were doing to her to corrupt her into a hag. But you think if you can get her to a safe place, a good place, you know, like maybe get her to the church or something like that, maybe the priest will have a better idea of if he can treat her, you know, try to reverse the effects or at least give her some better treatment.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. It's not really a curse. Like, you can't just say, like, oh, if she gets a restoration spell, then she'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like a process that was happening, and in that process, it's going to take time to reverse. Yeah. She'll always have some kind of damage, but, you know, you guys got her out in time, basically.
Yeah. Cool. All right, yeah. So, yeah, it'll sort of say that, even, but just as he sort of, again, it'll sort of like, that might be registering for him, but it'll just be like, you know, they're just dreams, but they'll fade in time. The important thing's just to keep moving forward, yeah. And as you say, that will pass us some sort of like tea or something, and
a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
And she vomits worms.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does she vomit?
No, she probably would. If she finished eating what she was going to eat, she probably would have vomited after that.
Yeah. And again, if Myrtle and Freek are there, it's like, you know, you guys, you still got each other. You've been through a lot, but you got each other. It's going to get better. I mean, it'll just try and change the mood again. And Freek, that was a good fire you put together. It's keeping us nice and toasty. There's a bit of a chill off. Good lad. And I think I gave him or Myrtle the talisman before. So if they've
your holy symbol?
Yeah, holy symbol.
Okay. Which one did you give it to?
I can't remember, to be honest, mate. I think I gave it to Myrtle. Was it Freek?
Myrtle? Freek?
Yeah.
Who do you want to give it to?
I'll give it to Freek. Give him responsibility.
So let's say that, you know, you kind of took it. I don't know what it already looks like. I know it's the holy symbol itself, but is it on a kind of, is it like a pendant style where he can kind of put it around, his neck? And okay. So you see, like, he's got it outside of his clothes, and he's kind of like, his chest is a little puffed out a bit, and he's like kind of proud to have this. And, you know, you think he's basically, he's the most resilient of the three children. He's recovering the fastest, and you see like he's kind of, you know, kids are pretty resilient anyway. They can recover pretty quick from a lot of things, and you think he's going to be okay, and he's going to get back on a good path, and just this kind of encouragement and positive influence is going to help him.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to, like, you know, give him sort of encouragement, build his esteem up, and all that kind of stuff, and like give him some responsibilities, but be like, keep that symbol close. It's, you know, it's a very precious thing for me, and it's got me through a lot of bad times before. I'm sure it'll help you as well.
And you can see it's perfectly clean too. Like, you're pretty sure he's been like polishing it and everything, and keeping it like away from all the dirt and the mud and everything. And yeah, he's like kind of looked at you like a kind of role model or mentor for lack of not having any parents.
Yeah. Viable.
There it is.
Yeah, it's kind of surrogate. You know, and that's kind of like, you know, having you there is kind of anchoring him in reality, as opposed to what he was exposed to previously. So yeah, it's all good what you're doing for him.
Cool. So again, if we sort of, you know, I'll breakfast chat with them for a little bit, and then I'll just be call in nature. Just gotta go and take care of some business, and I'll have a little wander off just to sort of check the perimeter. Again, I'll stay close by, maybe within like 30 foot, but I'll sort of maybe walk down to the lake line, or see where Morty, Pick, and the other adults, just to see what they're about.
Okay.
Maybe chatting with. I'll probably find Vasily first. Have a quick chat with him, see like, what kind of a journey we were expecting, how far to Valaki and all that.
Yeah, so you see, he hasn't really moved that far. Like he got up obviously to have breakfast with you guys and all that kind of stuff, but he's just still pretty gingerly moving around. But he's getting ready to go, and he seems pretty eager to get back on the road. He's Valaki's pretty close now, and he can see the end of this horrible nightmare is in sight. So he's eager to get back on the road. But yeah, he's hey, hello there, friend dwarf.
Did you? Thanks for taking that watch. I know you're not in the best of shape at the moment.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I mean, I owe you guys my life, literally.
How are you holding up?
Plus an hour or two of sleep.
I asked him just, how he's doing. How's he feeling?
These old bones aren't what they used to be, but I'll be all right. It'll be fine. Once we get to Valaki, I'll go to the Wachter house and get a few days of bed rest and some proper treatment. And he looks over at Pig. He's like, not that your treatment wasn't good, of course. It's very excellent work there with the bandages, but yeah.
Pig will be just quietly sharpening his blade.
Yeah, he says, "Good man, good man." So.
So how much of a march have we got on us today?
I figure it'll be. Give me 1 second.
So I don't want to push the kids too hard, but I think the sooner we get there, the better.
We should be able to, if we leave soon, we should be able to get there by noon, just in time for a good hot lunch.
Alright, sounds perfect. Sounds perfect.
It'll be about 5 hours if we stick to the road.
Let's get a move on.
So Crawford's not in it, so can tell the kids that we'll be breaking camp shortly. So make sure if they need to take care of any business.
The kids? Not really.
Well, yeah,
just do what you tell them to do.
Yeah. I mean, no, they just need to use the bathroom or whatever.
Doesn't sound like any kid I know.
Yeah. They just do that on their own. They don't want someone to tell them to do that. Yeah. So yeah, you guys break camp, and how do you leave the campsite? Do you clean it up for the next people to come along, or you just walk away with it as it is? And...
Yeah. Again, I guess for that one, Groth would be saying to Freek, any unused wood, put it back in the shelf. I'll tell him how to get rid of the fire safely and all that kind of stuff, and any kind of camp etiquette. I'll be trying to teach him some stuff, working with him. And then just tell Gertruda not to stay close to Myrtle. Don't let her go off by herself or anything like that, or get them to clean up the bedrolls or something.
And she seems a little bit better. Her eyes seem more alert and focused. Not significantly, but better. And it's better. You can see the daylight hours are going to be better for her than the nighttime hours for the next few days to come.
How did Morty's disguise hold up over the night?
Would Morty have noticed anything? Would you?
No.
No? Okay, so he still looks like a happy clown. Pick, you said you did a bit of recon?
Yeah. 18.
And you got an 18 perception check?
Yeah. Wasn't so stealthy.
Yeah, so when you're walking around, you don't see anything different around the immediate campsite, but there is still that rowboat. And if you kind of wander over there, you see that...
I'm not interested in going near it, just so you know.
Okay. Then you see a rowboat down the shore. Are you scanning the lake at all? Are you looking out over the lake?
Sure,
or are you just only concerned with the campsite?
No. I'm concerned with 360, but I'm not approaching anything that... I don't want to go in the water. I don't want to go in the trees. I don't want to go on the road. I just want to look around.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Valaki today, no matter what's happening. I have no interest in going across the lake in a boat or anything like that.
Okay. You do see, when you look out over the lake, you do see on the far side of the lake, closer to where Valaki is, you do see you can make out a boat, another rowboat, has kind of left the shore as daylight breaks, and you see a single man, and you can't really make it out, but you can guess because he goes out to the lake and he goes about to the center, but on his side of the lake he doesn't come to all the way over to the full center of the lake, but he goes pretty far out, and he just kind of stops the boat, and you can see he's got some things in the boat with him. It's too far away for you to really make out the details of what he's doing, but you can guess he's a fisherman of some kind, because he's just the way that he's just parked the boat in the middle of the lake, and he's not really moving. He's just kind of sitting in one pose, and you see him, he's kind of like drinking something and fishing, but other than that you don't see anything else.
All right, I'll make note of it, go back, let the others know, and then try to keep moving this group on towards Vallaki.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are you letting us know?
There's a man in a boat fishing. Came from
Far
Vallaki
away.
area.
Yeah,
Very
not
far
nearby.
away.
Not nearby.
Cool. And maybe Groth had asked specifically if there's much good stock in the lake. Because again, there's not many animals and stuff around, is there? So like,
Vasily would say, well, in Vallaki there are fish that are served, especially Blue Water Inn, and there are some fishermen who do brave the lake. Of course, like anywhere in Barovia, there are certain dangers to going out into the wild. But yeah, there are some brave souls that perform that service, and I do enjoy a nice grilled fish and thank them for it. Perhaps when we get there for lunch. It's recommended. The wolf steak is also recommended.
Groth will kind of like laugh at that one, and slightly uneasily, but like,
there's one thing there's plenty of in Barovia. It's wolf steak.
So Groth's just like, you seriously eat wolf?
Oh yes, it's almost the main dish. It's the Blue Water Inn special.
Like
some nice hot beef soup with that, and
like barbecue or stew.
Yeah, grilled wolf steak. It's prepared really well, especially by the Martikovs in Blue Water Inn. I've gone there from time to time.
Pickle grunt and agreement.
Yeah, you've stayed there, Pick, so you know. You've probably eaten it.
More than once.
Yep. So Pick has rooms at the Blue Water Inn, so he's familiar with that place.
If it's fishing you're interested in, do it from Vallaki.
I'm not too interested in going into the waters around here. There's a bit of a long story behind that one.
All right, so you guys break camp. You ready to head onto the road?
Let's do it.
All right. So
Helping.
So you get back on the road, and the Old Spanish Road meanders into a valley, watched over by dark, brooding mountains to the north and south. After about 5 hours, as I said, the woods recede, revealing a sullen mountain burg surrounded by a 15-foot-high wooden palisade, its vertical logs held together with thick ropes and mortar. The top of each log has been sharpened to a point. Thick fog presses up against the wall as though looking for a way inside and hoping to catch the town in slumber. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates, with a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them atop wooden scaffolding that hugs the inside of the palisade 12 feet off the ground, enabling the archers to peer over the wall and eye you with suspicion as you approach. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside of the east gate are a half-dozen pikes with wolf heads impaled on them. Heavy iron chains and iron padlocks keep the gates shut against visitors and intruders alike. Another pair of guards armed with pikes stand just inside the gate. They both lower their pikes, and one of them says, "That's close enough. State your business, strangers."
Can I do a perception check to see if I recognize the guards?
Sure.
Apparently I can't see very well right now.
What'd you roll?
I got a 7. 7?
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't say anything, Groth would call out, we're traveling with Mr. Holtz. I'm assuming he's welcome here.
You're name dropping, huh?
Yeah.
That was my next move.
Okay. Give me 1 sec here. Okay. So yeah, Vasily, like when you drop his name and probably you kind of nudge him a bit, he steps forward and he addresses the guard. He says, "I am Vasily von Holtz, master merchant and close associate of Lady Wachter. We seek entry to the town. Open these gates immediately." The guard who addressed you raises his pike, scratches his brow underneath his steel helm. "Wow, we sure know you, Mr. Holtz, and your companion there. Sure we do. But these friends of yours are new to us. Just make sure they behave themselves and follow the rules, or proper like. Baron Vargas, our esteemed burgomaster, has some peculiar ideas, and he's a bit sensitive these days. If your friends make any trouble, then it's the stocks for them, or the gallows." Vasily kind of just looks you guys over and seems about to speak quick words of reassurance, but then his eyes rest on Morty. Vasily instead just clears his throat and nods. "Yes, indeed, quite so. Follow the rules in Vallaki and all will be well." The guards echo the statement, "All will be well." Then they unlock the gate from the inside and open it just enough for you to enter. Once you're inside the palisade, the gate clangs shut behind you like the jaws of an iron trap.
How many guards were there? 2?
More than that. There's 2 right there at the gate.
Yeah.
But there's archers up top.
I'm going to toss each of the 2 door guys silver each.
Well, thank you there. Much obliged, sir.
Hey, it's going to be another hot day out here today, and we could all use a drink tonight. Maybe I'll see you at the end.
That indeed we can. If you get tired of hanging out with the fancy folk, come over to the Old Village pub. That's where the guards like to have a real drink.
Yeah, I've been. I'll be again.
If you're not above hanging out with the common folk, that is.
About as common as they come. I'm going to persuade him that I'm like him.
That you're like him?
Yeah, just like a common guy.
Okay.
Salt of the earth kind of dude. Got a 19.
Nice. Yep. So he just kind of nods and yeah, gives you a nod like, yeah, I understand. You're just doing your job, same as us. Gotta do what you gotta do, kind of thing. Okay. Anybody else do anything as you pass through these gates? Or we just
again, Groth would just be chatting to the. I guess by now I'll be carrying Myrtle again because it's been a long walk. Again, just chatting to them like, oh, look, it's pretty safe, eh? Hey, Freek, no getting into mischief while you're in town, though, eh? Hey, just trying to like keep them up. And when the gate's coming down, it's a nice strong gate that, or I'll keep those beasties out, won't it? Hey. So again, it's probably a bit intimidating for them because they come from a small town, been locked up, and then just walking into a big room.
Yeah, they've never been to Vallaki, and that's pretty obvious. You see, like they're all just staring around wide-eyed at everything. They never even thought of the idea that the village could have a wall around it. Probably Freek's even just old enough to realize that's a genius idea for keeping the wolves out.
Yeah.
That would solve a lot of problems in Barovia Village if they had a 15-foot high or whatever it is wall around the whole town, especially with iron gates. So yeah, they're just wide-eyed looking at everything. Like they feel very secure here compared to their previous surroundings.
Pick's gonna look down at the 2 kids and be like, "Don't worry. Now that you're here, everything's gonna be okay." And I'm gonna roll deception. I got a 12.
You got a what? 12? Okay. That's hilarious. Okay, so they just kind of nod, like everything's gonna be okay, but you have this weird look on your face, like they kind of they know when you're being natural a little bit, and they kind of don't, but they kind of don't really, they can't really tell, like they believe what you're saying, but they kind of feel like, can anybody be okay in Barovia?
Groth doesn't believe you, but he appreciates the effort.
Nice. Okay. So you guys basically will continue into the town then. So you make your way to the town square in the center of Vallaki. The shops and homes that enclose the square are decorated with limp, tattered garlands and painted wooden boxes filled with tiny dead flowers. At the north end of the square stands a row of stocks, locked into which are several men, women, and children wearing crude plastered donkey heads. In the center of the town square Peasants in patchwork clothes eye you suspiciously as they use cups and vases to draw water from a crumbling stone fountain. Standing tall at the center of the fountain is a gray statue of an impressive man facing west. All around the town square are posted proclamations. Come one, come all, to the greatest celebration of the year, the Wolf's Head Jamboree. Attendance and children required. Pikes will be provided. All will be well. The Baron. Just as you finish reading the sign, you see a massive mountain of a man turn the corner, flanked by a pair of town guards. He's dressed in studded leather, and he holds the largest battle axe you've ever seen in one hand with ease. You also notice that his other arm is deformed into a scaled demonic appendage that ends in a taloned claw. He glances at you with a scowl that seems to be permanently etched into his scarred and bearded face. He marches right up to you and easily towers over you with his heightened girth of solid muscle. Strangers, are you here for the festival? This one is done, but there'll be another one soon enough. As the sign says, you better be there. The two town guards tear down all of the old proclamations and start putting up a new one that reads, Come one, come all, to the greatest celebration of the year, the festival of the blazing sun. Attendance and children required. Rain or shine, all will be well. The Baron. And unless interrupted, the guards will just finish doing that.
Yeah, I guess Groth would just be looking at Vasily or Pick to see their read on, or see their reaction on it. Can I just do an Arcana check or nature or something for like a guy had a freakishly deformed demonic arm?
Yep.
That piques my curiosity.
Clearly.
Arcana 14? Is it some magical deformity?
Arcana 14? Yeah, you see that thing's glowing, and it's definitely demonic.
But I know
exactly what it looks like. It's a magical, glowing, demonic arm.
Would I have, from a 14, would I have any idea how the fuck someone ends up with a magically glowing, forming arm with nobody batting an eyelid?
How to take it, or how to walk around with one?
No, I mean, like, how do you acquire that kind of thing? Because nobody seems to be particularly freaked out by it.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, you see, give me an insight check. Nope. You have no idea.
I'm just like, that's a bit
so you know that it's pretty rare for someone to have a partial demonic transformation. Either they would be fully transformed or not transformed. Like for just his arm to be transformed like that is pretty unusual. And you can tell it does have some magical properties of a demonic nature. But as for the insight check, you don't really see any particular reaction to the arm of the people around you. You know, like people aren't really looking at it or not looking at it as far as you can tell. It doesn't seem to be, you can't tell how they really feel about it. Either they're being really polite and pointedly not looking at it or thinking about it or talking about it, or they really just don't care.
Yeah.
They could just be really used to it. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, all the people who look
as cool as a cucumber as well, standing beside Vasily.
And Pick, I'm going to say that you've seen this guy around a lot.
Yep.
And for you, you're very familiar with the demonic arm. It's not a surprise to you. You've seen him before. You've seen it before. And I'll give you a little freebie info. You would know that he's basically, he's kind of hand of the king in Vallaki. The burgomaster is the Baron Vargas, and this is his enforcer, who basically keeps law and order. He orders around the town guards. He deals with malcontents. He metes out punishments, and he eliminates any kind of threat to the Baron's rule.
Yeah. Pick would kind of, knuckle the forehead to him and the two guards and be like, I'm so sad that I missed the event, but I'm looking forward to the next one. It's always a highlight of my year.
And he just kind of snorts and looks at you, but he nods. He's seen you around too. He knows you're generally a resident of Vallaki. And Vasily von Holtz, he's seen him around too. He just nods and says, "All will be well." And then he sees
I look at the kids and say, "See,
see, all will be well."
Nice. I'd be like, "Yeah, no trouble with a big strong man like that around." Yeah, kids, just try and fucking shuffle them along, right?
Yeah. And he just kind of watches you go, but he doesn't consider you guys to be any kind of threat or anything. I mean, you get the feeling like people come and go through this town a lot, and he's just concerned with, as I said, keeping law and order. And as long as you follow the rules and don't make a problem, you don't really have to deal with him. That's how Pick understands it, and that's how Vasily understands it. Make sure all is well.
Yeah. Ignore the big and dumb most of the time.
Yeah. Otherwise, you end up like the donkey-headed people in the stocks. And
yeah, actually, I was going to ask if I heard that properly. But it was people wearing donkey-shaped masks made out of plaster. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And Pick, you've seen this before. This is not the first time people have been put in there. You've been gone for a few days, I guess. So I guess you've been gone for like what, two days maybe?
Yeah, 2 or 3 it was.
Okay, so actually,
was the donkey head the same as the last time, or was it a different head last time?
It was donkey head. It's always a donkey head, and some of the people are still there from before, and some of the people are new. But yeah, I mean, so you're
with my low insight, I'm not able to tell which is which, though. But clearly, I wasn't paying attention when I was thinking about the assignment.
Yeah, it's not really like a. I don't know, unless it is. Is it something that Pick would be interested in? Who the people are that are in the stocks?
No, possibly, but he didn't. He didn't have any insight on it when he left the town. Doesn't right at the moment.
Yeah, you see 3 men.
Sure, but...
Nobody owes him money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, what you see right now currently is 3 men, 2 women, and 2 boys trapped in the stocks. And because of their clothing and everything, you can see they're obviously simple commoners. And because they've been exposed to the weather, and Pick, you know that some of them have been here since before you left the town even. So you know that they're tired, they're wet, and likely starving. The plaster donkey heads they wear are obviously meant to encourage ridicule. And you can see that there's an iron padlock that secures each prisoner.
I'll turn to Vasily and I'll say, well, it looks like they've added a couple more.
And Vasily just kind of, he kind of shrugs like, what can you do kind of thing, when in Rome, and he says, well, unfortunately that's what happens to people who are arrested for, he kind of does air quotes and says malicious unhappiness, but he quickly puts his fingers down so make sure nobody saw him do that.
Yeah, Pick will nod and then just kind of gesture off towards the inn and say, well, we better move along before we're caught up in any malicious unhappiness ourselves.
And you know Pick too, that these are basically people who have been arrested for speaking out against either the Baron, who's the burgomaster, or the festivals, any of the festivals that he's been doing. And you've been here long enough to know that these festivals are a pretty regular thing. You were here for the previous one, the Wolf's Head Jamboree, and you remember that people were basically parading through Vallaki, and they had these pikes with wolf heads impaled on them, and the blood and gore was running down the shafts of these pikes, and people were just kind of chanting and singing like all will be well, all will be well, marching through the streets. And then they burned all the wolf's heads and put some of them outside the gates. And
yeah, Pick's being honest, he was a little bit annoyed having to pay the 4 silver to get his gear cleaned up after that.
Nice.
Pretty annoying.
Yeah, so these festivals kind of happen on a weekly basis, and it's kind of a thing in Vallaki. They're just, people just got to deal with it. This is what the Baron does, what the Baron likes to do.
Yeah, I usually try to be out on a job when this kind of thing goes down because it's just not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. So from the proclamations that there's another festival coming up, and they're kind of sporadic. Like they announce the festival, then they prepare for the festival, and then they announce like, oh, it's going to happen in 3 days, or it's going to happen tomorrow. But so now they put up the first proclamation saying they're preparing the next festival. Cool.
Well, shall we make ourselves to the lunch?
Yeah, no, as soon as you mention the inn or whatever, I mean, it's a bit fucking weird for Groth because it's his first time here. And again, the kid's probably getting a little bit weirded out as well. He's trying to stop them looking at the women and children in stocks.
Yeah, especially the children.
Yeah, he'll be trying to like steer them away from that one. And as soon as you mention sort of the inn or the food or something, he's like, "Oh, sounds good, eh, kids? Yeah, finally, some proper food in a proper tavern. Come on."
Yep. So at this point, Vasily says, "Yes, go on ahead. Go on ahead. I need to go to the Wachter house. I'll take my meal there and get some rest and pick my good man. I'll be in touch with you again soon for our next expedition. But don't worry, I don't think it's going to be soon until I'm fully recovered. That was obviously a disaster, and I don't plan on going back to the castle anytime soon. I think we'll do something a little bit safer next time." And,
you know how to get in touch.
Yeah, but don't worry. I'll make sure your payments and your bonuses are all paid and forwarded to you and paid in full. You did good work out there. And he kind of shakes your hand.
Yeah,
as he's saying that, as he's saying that, Groth might be like, actually, Mr. Vasilia, we find ourselves in a little bit of a predicament. I was kind of unexpectedly came here in the first place, and I seem to have picked up a few more mouths to feed on the way.
He kind of chuckles and says, "Indeed." Well, as for the children, I think you can either take them to the Blue Water Inn and ask Erwin Martikov if there's anything he can do to get them settled in, or take them to the church. I'm sure Father Lucian has some ideas too of what can be done.
Actually, I was hoping, would you be able just to extend a small little bit of credit my way, just put some food in their bellies?
he kind of chuckles again, and why don't you give him a persuasion check? Saving his life is one thing, but getting a line of credit is another.
Oh no, I don't mean a line of credit. I just mean a bit of credit, like some money, not like a income.
Mm-hmm.
Persuasion.
Wow. 21.
And as I say that, and even my belly's feeling a bit empty as well, if I'm honest.
And he says, certainly. He says, I lost what I had with me when the wagon crashed and the various, situations we've barely survived. Let me go to the Wachter house. I'll get myself sorted out, and I'll make sure to forward something to you guys at the Blue Water Inn. I'll send it today, this very afternoon.
So again,
Pick will say that like kind of quietly and be like, I can probably keep them full belly for the afternoon.
Very decent of you. Mm-hmm. No, thank you, Mr. Holtz. Much appreciated.
No, thank you. I mean, as I said, you saved my life, so twice even. So, of course, absolutely. I'll make sure that you have room and board in Vallaki while you're here.
Oh, excellent.
I'll send a message to Blue Water Inn today and make sure that they bill me for any of your expenses.
They probably know that I'm working with him as well. I could probably just be the go-between.
Yeah.
And Groth would be like, "Oh, why didn't you thank your uncle, Uncle Holt's children?"
Thank you, Uncle Holtz. Oh, yeah, we're not gonna go down that road. Okay. So yeah, I mean, he'll give you a few points. What he's just got on him. He'll give you a few gold to get you through at least your lunch and stuff like that. But he's gonna make sure you guys are properly sorted out in Vallaki. He'll make sure that he's billed for your room and board, and you don't have to worry about that kind of thing.
Sweet. That's all Groth was kind of angling for. Like a bit of board and food for the next few days was like.
And he goes to Pick too. He says, "I'm quite happy to extend the same offer to you too, my friend, and put you in my permanent employ if that's satisfactory to you as well."
Pick will raise an eyebrow because this is kind of a step beyond the usual style for Vasily's contracts, he knows, and says, "I'd be much obliged to that too, sir."
All right. So I'll make sure both of your tabs are forwarded to my account. Good day to you, sirs, and try to relax and recover. It was a harrowing experience, but we made it. We're in Vallaki now.
I'll be talking to you again later, sir.
Mm-hmm. So he just nods, and just leaning on his cane, kind of hobbles painfully off in a different direction towards a district that has different, like, fancier houses, a couple mansions you can see in the distance. But you see down another street, Pick, lies the Blue Water Inn, and there's also the direction is the church, and there's a few other things in the town that you would know about. Where do you want to go, and then I can tell you what you know.
Well, at this point, I would kind of gesture to the other guys, "All right, gentlemen, follow me. I'll take you to the inn for lunch. It's a good place for us to start." And then, without even thinking about it, Pick will go into stealth. But then he'll be like, "Oh, sorry," and he'll come out of the shadows again. That was a 29, by the way.
29. So he just disappears. For lunch. And then you turn around, Groth, and Pick's gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is. He's about to be like, good day.
Yeah. You guys are just standing in the town square next to some people in stocks with donkey heads, and Vasily's gone, Pigs are gone. And you guys are standing there.
Children, stay close.
All will be well. All will be well.
All will be well.
Out of interest, that big guy we saw before, was he a Goliath at all?
Racially speaking, he's not a Goliath. He's just a giant, huge fucking human.
Okay.
He's probably the biggest human
you've ever
worst. Seen. Yeah, he's probably the biggest human you've ever seen.
Goliath Ranger for some reason. I don't know. I just wondered if I was in. Cool.
No, he's as and you guys just kind of look around the city. But probably this occurs to you in this moment. As if you're thinking about him that way, then you're probably going to look around the village, and you see townspeople, like I said, milling about, doing different things, going here and there, getting water, that kind of thing. And you do notice that everybody's human still. There are no other races here. So even in this larger town, this larger settlement that's prospering as far as you can tell compared to Barovia Village, still there's only humans here. So you guys stand out, Morty and Groth. Pick's fine. He's not even there.
No, I'm back.
He's a ghost.
I was going back.
Ghost right
Shadow to move now. Sorry, my bad.
I'd like to think that Morty's makeup is done so well that people just think he's a midget.
Yeah, to be honest, they can't tell because you've got this like perfect critical makeup on, so they can't even tell what race you are. They think if anything, you're a midget or a child or something like that. They have no idea that you're actually a gnome. Groth, you're a very short bearded fellow, burly bearded fellow, so you probably don't pass as human.
No.
But that's fine.
To the inn, gentlemen, to the inn.
Yeah, I was going to say that's. Yeah. So.
I would, as we're walking towards the inn, I would say, if you have any goods that you picked up along the way, I know of a good, I guess it would be a good merchant that can that move your equipment or your items, and I'll point off in the direction of wherever that would be.
Yeah, you know that there's a place called the Arasek Stockyard, and they it kind of serves as a kind of warehouse area, but it also has a general store. They basically just deal with all kinds of goods and supplies that come in and out of Vallaki. There aren't a lot of shops per se. They pretty much just have. It's like that one store you heard about in Barovia Village, the mercantile store. Same kind of idea. It's a general purpose, all in one store.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say, to be honest, you don't want to be in debt too deep to the good Vasily. He's quite a businessman. I would never besmirch his reputation at all. But if you know anything about business, the deeper you go in, the deeper you're in. So if you do have any way to pick up any funds, I might suggest you do so.
Yeah, Groth will sort of nod. It should be enough to see us for the next few days, but I'll be looking to earn my keep.
Yeah, like anywhere in the world, you know. Pick knows this already. Like anywhere in the world, you know, you need money to survive. Nothing's free, even in Barovia.
Yeah, because I'm assuming, like I said, we saved his life, so a few days of credit's kind of right. But then,
and
after that,
you know, like where Pick's coming from, it's like Vasily really is fine with that. He really doesn't mind paying for you guys. It's not going to cost him that much, and he trusts you guys not to go over the top with anything. But I think Pick also knows, like, out of respect to him too, you know, like he doesn't want to lean on him too hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's not really Pick's nature anyway to just lean on other people for financial support. Okay. So you guys go into the inn?
During
definitive thing. Yep.
During the long conversation with Vasily.
Here it comes.
What?
No, I love it. I was waiting. I was like, "Where's Morty? What's going on?"
Yeah. All right, Morty was just watching the people on stalks with donkey helmets, donkey heads.
Yep.
Just trying to find, like, he's at an art gallery, just thinking to himself, just how bad these modern art performers are. Not nearly as good as the old bards.
And you can see that there's like piles of stones and like kind of rotten fruit and vegetables around. And if you want, like you see, like sometimes little children kind of run up, they grab a stone and throw it at one of the donkeys and kind of laugh and say, "Oh, we'll do it!" And then they kind of run off, scamper off down the street again. And
I'll try to give some to the kids that are with us so that they can play.
Okay, so
Groth?
you pick up some stones, or you pick up some rotten fruit and vegetables. Like, what are you going to hand them?
I'm not going to waste the rotten fruit. That's going in my bag.
Okay.
I'll make a goulash later.
Nice, awesome.
I'll give them a rock.
Okay, so you hand the stone to each of the kids.
No, he tries to hand the stones to each of the kids. Groth will be like shepherding. Okay, actually, I'll do a perception check first because I was talking
to. He's talking to Vasily during this time.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll do a perception check to see if I notice him because I was occupied.
Wow, critical fail.
Are you trying to be sneaky about giving the stones? Like, are you trying to do it in a way so that Groth doesn't notice? Morty? Because if you roll an opposed, give me a opposed.
I'm gonna sleight of hand.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Okay, you can sleight of hand them to Gertruda and Freek, but I'm actually holding Myrtle still, so
that's fine.
He's pretty good. He might be good at this.
Okay, so you can hand out stones, and Groth doesn't notice.
Yeah, I'll kind of whisper to Freek, like, yeah.
Pick notices but says nothing.
I insight check Pick to see if
No metagaming. Okay, so Morty hands the stones, and what'd you say to Freek?
Like, talking, prove that you're a strong boy, see if you can hit it.
and he just got like, I can hit that. They're not even that far. I can hit rats back in the village. I even throw stones at the wolves from the window. And he takes the stone and he chucks it right at the donkey head. And you see, like it. Well, we're just gonna say I'm not gonna roll for it. We'll just say that it hits the donkey head, and you hear this kind of gasp and kind of a whimper from inside the donkey head. And he hit one of the women. Just because they were closer. There's just 3 men, 2 women, and 2 boys.
What about Gertruda?
Groth is done.
Do you tell Gertruda to do it? She's just kind of holding the rock and kind of looking at it and looking at Freek throw the rock and looking at you guys talking.
I'm going to do a perception on the stone throwing at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to notice that by now.
Yeah, sure. Okay, you notice this stone go flying through the air and hit the donkey, and you hear the gasp from the woman and kind of whimpers.
You see a scowl going across Groth's head when he's just like, good throw, Freek. I know you got a strong arm on you, but I'll be trying to steer him away. And if I see Gertruda with a stone, I'll be like, but wouldn't you like to get in the tavern and have some food soon, eh? Yeah, Morty, come on.
And Freek, first when you say that to Freek, he's like, "See, Groth, I hit it, Groth. I'm a big boy. I'm strong, just like you."
You're strong. You're a strong little lad, aren't you? Hey. But come on, I think Myrtle's getting hungry. Gertruda, you look like you need some food. Come on.
She says, I'm hungry. I am hungry. And she's like, she looks like she should throw she thinks in her mind she has to throw the stone to get the food. So she starts to wind up like Freek and goes like she's about to throw the stone.
Oh, there's no need for that, girl. It'll be time for that later if you want to have another go then.
She was kind of confused, like, because she thought the instructions were to throw the stone and then you get food, but it looks like she doesn't have to do that, so she just kind of shrugs and gives the stone back to Morty. Does Morty throw a stone?
No, during like this big distraction, because everyone's now paying attention to, the strange-looking, small bearded man with the children. Morty's just like loading his bag with this rotten fruit.
Nice.
He's grabbing this fruit right when Pig says, nothing's free in Barovia or whatever.
Nice.
Nice. So the people in the stocks, they can't even see you because their heads are covered and there's no eye holes or anything. There's just like kind of a grill where they can kind of breathe in and out, but there's not really anything they can see. So they don't even notice that you're crawling around them, picking up all the rotten fruit and everything. So you get quite the collection, because people throw things at them every day. And it's around noon, so they've had things thrown at them today. All right.
Yeah,
you guys continue on?
Yeah. After that, I'll have Gertruda by the hand, carrying Myrtle, and I'll be like, "Come on, Freek."
All right.
And then yeah.
That's okay. Go ahead. It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm your tour guide.
No, I'll carry on. Eventually, I'm going to have a talk to Freek about changing his name. But
he's like, "What's wrong with my name? It's Freek. I don't know anybody else with that name."
There's a reason for that, son. We'll talk about it later.
All right. So you guys continue on to the inn, right? That's your decided destination. All right, so you walk through the town, and you arrive at a building that has gray smoke issuing from the chimney. It's a large 2-story wooden building with a stone foundation and a sagging tile roof, upon which several ravens have perched. A painted wooden sign hanging above the main entrance depicts a blue waterfall with the words, "The Blue Water Inn." There's a 3-foot-high stone rim that surrounds the mouth of a deep moss-lined well that the inn uses to draw fresh water. A wooden staircase hugs the outer wall of the inn, leads up to a sturdy wooden door, and the guest quarters on the upper floor beyond. So, Pick, you know that you can go, you have a key to your room, so you know that you could go up the outside and go directly into the servants' quarters, or you can lead these guys through the main entrance to basically the tap room where people eat and drink, the common room.
Yeah, I'll lead them into the main part, so we're here for a meal. And they need to talk to the guy, the owner, to get drinks and stuff like that. So.
Sure enough. All right. So
just as we were approaching, you said there's ravens on the roof or whatever. Were they cawing or anything like which would make me pay attention to them otherwise? Because I'm kind of
an insight check or a nature check, either one, up to you.
Can I just do a perception first, just to see if I even hear them or notice them? Or...
Oh, you noticed them. You saw them.
Okay, cool.
But if you're checking for any strange behavior, then I would say either nature to look at them as ravens, or insight to try to figure out what kind of behavior they're exhibiting.
Yeah, I got the 6 on the nature, so I just say I'm kind of distracted, trying to make sure the kids are still with us and not assaulting people with rocks.
Yeah, you just see ravens. Like
Every
up
party
on the roof.
has a keeper.
Yeah, so I'll maybe bear it in mind because I'm still a bit suspicious of them. But yeah. Anyway, we move on. And I'll just make sure kids are with us and all that, and following Pix. I'm probably pretty sure Pix in a hurry to get inside and just chill out or get back to his place. So keeping up with him.
Okay.
And again, I'll have a little look around for Morty as well to see if he's set anything on fire.
Unless he says otherwise, I think he's following you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, he's following. I mean, he's looking around, just taking in.
Can we advantage rolls to see advantage rolls on perception checks to spot him now?
Nice.
Maybe.
In his clown
Yeah,
gear.
depends if he's intentionally hiding himself from you or not.
Yeah.
If it's typical behavior, it's possible. Okay, so as you enter the top room, which is the same as the common room, you see damp cloaks hanging from pegs in the entrance portico. The tavern is packed with tables and chairs, with narrow paths meandering between them. A bar stretches along one wall, under a balcony that can be reached by a wooden staircase that hugs the north wall. Another balcony overhangs an entrance to the east. All the windows are fitted with thick shutters and crossbars. Lanterns hanging above the bar and resting on the tables bathe the room in a dull orange light and cast shadows upon the walls, most of which are adorned with grotesque wolf heads mounted on wooden plaques. The inn is crowded, but there are a few tables that easily stand out among the normal townsfolk. The first of which is a pair of heavily armed wolf hunters, fully clothed in wolf hides and skins, from their trousers to their cloaks to their hats. They have packs next to them that are bulging with even more skins. They're drinking from a pitcher of ale in grim silence and haunted looks in their eyes. You also see a pair of youths, clearly brothers from their appearance, and they're dressed in silks and cuts that are obviously more expensive than the majority of the other people you see in here. They have a pitcher of wine with 2 more empty pitchers set aside, and they laugh loudly at some shared joke, clearly drunken and enjoying themselves. The patrons at nearby tables cringe each time the 2 young men burst out laughing and pretend they don't exist. They do their best to ignore them and avoid any eye contact. Sitting alone by the fire, smoking a pipe with a lute by his side, is a colorfully dressed half-elf bard. You easily spot the innkeeper, a middle-aged, bearded, and heavy-set man standing behind the bar, laughing and chatting with his patrons. A woman of around the same age comes in and out of the kitchen, delivering steaming food on trays. Judging from the familiarity with which they interact with each other, it's clear that they are husband and wife.
Oh, he's tapping the staff, but anyway.
I'll give you some basic info. This is something only Pick knows. So Groth and Morty don't know this, even though they're hearing it. But Pick, you know that the 2 wolf hunters are called Zoldar and Yevgeny. And you've seen them a lot in this tavern. They're regulars here.
Yep.
And they are famous. They're the best wolf hunters in Vallaki.
Well, second, but anyway.
Well, I mean, they're professional wolf hunters. Like that's all they do is they go out and they kill wolves. And they made some good coin during the last festival because a lot of wolf heads were needed for the Wolf's Head Jamboree. So they're doing pretty good for themselves right now. That was a good month for them. So anyway that you haven't really gone out with them to do that. They kind of stick to themselves. They're brothers. But you can guess from the amount of wolf steak that they bring in and the wolf heads that they bring in that they're pretty legit in their profession. They also are they're kind of like you, where they are open to employment for people as guides or scouts, that kind of thing. They're pretty familiar with the area surrounding Vallaki, and just like you, they just make their money however they can with their skills. You know that the 2 youths, the drunken, they're in their early 20s basically, and they're the sons, Nikolai and Karl Wachter. They're the sons of Fiona Wachter, who's the lady of Wachter House, which is where Vasily who Vasily is friends with.
Yep.
So you know they're the sons of her, and they're related to that house.
So Dave, can you pop the spell in for what the one of the best
Watcher, the spelling?
Yeah.
Yep.
So while you're doing that, I'll turn to the others and I'll give them kind of a quick rundown on the local politics of things, giving them a warning to definitely stay off the bad side of the two sons, and again, the association with Vasily. And then I'll mention about the prowess of the two hunters and say, you know, in a different way, keep on their good side as well. There's no need to, you know, start any beef with gentlemen as well known as them in the town.
And you know the bard too. As well.
I was going to ask you if you know the half elf.
Yeah.
You know the bard. He's pretty regular here too. He's got rooms just like you. He's a resident of the inn.
Yeah.
The hunters are not. They have their own house. They just come here to treat. The boys obviously stay at the mansion. They just come here to drink. But he is a fellow traveler like you, but he's based in Vallaki. He's got permanent rooms here. He performs and mainly as a storyteller. He kind of just plays the lute, you know, just like his background music, but he's more of a storyteller than a singer. But he also came into town as a carnival master. And you know that he's got a wagon elsewhere in town in the stockyard. That's his carnival wagon, and that's how he kind of came in here, and that's how everybody knows him. He's the bard, he's the carnival master, and he just like that's who he is in the town. He doesn't really do anything special. He just kind of hangs out at the inn, and he goes in and out from time to time and tells stories to earn his keep.
So whoever's not looking busy between the wife and the tavern owner, I'll call them over and introduce the other guys, start sorting them out for, you know, for the relationship part. And I'll also, at the time that we're ordering food and stuff like that, I'm going to send over a pitcher of wine to the bard.
Okay.
But again, you can play that out as you need to.
Yeah, so there's a lot of content there. So how do you situate your group of people first? So you got Morty and Groth, you've got the 3 children. Are you going to try to put them at a table first and then go talk privately to Erwin? You know, Erwin Mardukak is the owner of the inn.
Yeah,
he's the barkeep.
As I said, depending on whoever's less busy between him and his wife, I'll call them over. I think we'll situate ourselves closer to the bard and the 2 hunters than the 2 youth. We definitely want to put, you know, kind of, if possible, put one of the other groups or one of the other individuals in between us and them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the inn's pretty crowded, but it is lunchtime as opposed to evening, so there are still empty tables. You know, like this place gets pretty crowded. There's only 2 social areas in Vallaki. There's this place, and then there's a kind of more rowdier, seedier pub on the other side of town where the town guards go.
Good for a Saturday.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. Good for a rough night when you want a rough night.
Yeah, I mean, like, if there was a table against the wall, or, you know, something a little bit separated from the crowd, Groth would try and find the quietest table, the more secluded table. But I know it's busy. But
sure, yeah. So you guys can find a table. Yeah, and so you guys sit down and you look around and you can see when you sit at the table, you see there's a lot of like parchments posted around the room, and it has all the prices for everything. So it says lodgings, 1 gold per night, meals included. Beet stew, 1 copper. Wolf steak, 1 silver. Ale, 1 copper per pint. Purple grape mash wine, 3 coppers per pint. Red dragon crush wine, 1 silver per pint. Champagne de la Stomp sold out. And that's pretty much all there is.
Groth would want an ale. And as for kids, kind of what they want to eat, they'd be a bit wary about them eating loads of meat because they've been fed kind of. The 2 other kids have been fed quite well, though, yeah?
They've been overfed.
Yeah,
their muscles have atrophied from being stuck in the boxes, but like their stomachs are like kind of like sticking out, like they've been overfed.
Yeah, so like you just get the beet stew, something kind of light. You're not going to start filling them up with fucking meat and stuff, and especially what's her face, Gertruda. She's not been eating much, so something she can handle.
Here, have these worms. I mean, we'll stick.
Yeah, sure. So you can basically say, you guys can put together an order, and then I imagine Pick's gonna convey that order when he goes over to talk to the.
Yeah, Groth kind of wants to have the wolf steak, but feels bad about eating it if the kids are eating beef stew, so he'll eat that. But he'll order an ale to make himself feel better.
Sure. Is Morty gonna want to eat anything, or when Pick's basically putting together the order here? So Groth wants an ale and some stew.
He'll get a wolf steak.
Wolf steak, okay. All right. So
Yeah,
Pick,
so,
you basically get everybody's order.
So sorry, who comes over? Does it the husband or the wife?
Well, nobody comes over. It's
Okay,
kind
so
of,
neither
it's the kind of place where you kind of go in, you seat yourselves, and you approach. You go and talk to them. Like she does come in and out, but she's basically like bringing the food. The wife.
Yeah, no problem.
Danika's bringing the food, and basically you kind of order with Erwin. He's at the bar. He's just serving a few people at the bar. He will get you eventually.
I'll walk up to him.
Yeah, you can
I'll
just
walk over to him and give him a greeting like, "Hey, how's it going? Just made it back in," and so I've got this group of strangers in town, and Vasily's gonna vouch for him, blah blah blah, and we're looking to get some lodgings, and then at the same time, if we can start off with, and then I announce the order that we're looking at as well.
And yeah, as you approach, he's familiar with you because you have rooms here, and you eat here regularly. And so he's like, "Oh, Mr. Nightbreeze, good to see you back again. How's your excursion? Your latest excursion?"
Been better, been worse. It was a bit rougher than we expected, but
a bit more worse than better, as most things are in Barovia.
All will be well. And
all will be well, indeed. And he kind of winks at you like, "That's a load of shit, but hey, you got to say it." Like, all will be well. Yep, all will be well. And but he said, "Okay, so I see you got some new friends with you."
Yes, we met some strangers out on the way, and they pulled us out of a deep jam there. So Vasily and I decided to give them a tour of the local sites and whatnot. And as I say,
where did you pick up the kids from? It's not often you see just kids hanging around in the woods that are still alive anyway, I'm sorry to say.
Had yourself a dream pie lately?
He's kind of like, Morgantha? Where'd you find them, on the road?
Let's say a little closer to home.
Well, hopefully not Morgantha's home, because that's a place not many people like to go to, or many people come back from.
Pick kind of closes up a little bit there, and then he's like, "Anyway, about these rooms."
Well, it's poor kids. I mean, sure, definitely we can get them situated. I'll talk to Danica, and we'll take them to the church. I think that's Father Lucian will have a way to get them settled. Like, there's a lot of orphans, unfortunately, in Vallaki, and we often have to relocate them to other families. So we can do the same with these children. We'll make sure they get a good home.
Aye, seems to be the best way.
But yeah, I can definitely get some rooms put together for your friends.
Yeah, and as I say, it's been a hell of a journey. I think lunch is probably the first thing on our list of things to do.
And will this be on your usual tab?
Yeah, put it on mine for now. I'll settle up with Vasily later.
All right, done and done. So you tell him what everybody wants to eat and drink. And he says, "All right, Danica will be right back with that when it's ready. Just sit yourselves, relax, and shake off the horrors of the road."
If only we're that easy, my friend.
That's why I don't go out much. Just stay right here where things are relatively safe, and all will be well.
I chuckle at that and say, "Let's hope it is." And continues to be.
Okay. All right, so you go back to the table?
Yep.
All right. Well, he gives you the ale right away, because he's at the bar already, and that's what he takes care of. So he gives you the ales for anybody who wants it, but the food has to be prepared, obviously. Yeah,
I'm gonna take the pitcher of wine over to the bard, and I'm assuming he's like playing or whatever at this time because it's a meal and whatnot going on. So I'll just set it down on the side of the stage nearby. Give a nod.
And
head back to the table.
when he pours the wine for you, he says he kind of like leans in and keeps his voice low, and he says, "Just to let you know, I know that burly fellow you got over there looks like he can hold his drink, and I know you can when you want to, but my supply of wine is nearly gone, and the next shipment is overdue. The vineyard and winery is a few miles west of here, just down the Old Bonegrinder road. I don't know, I'm worried about it, and there's a lot of rowdy people here," and he kind of like nods his head at the Walker boys, and kind of also takes like a quick little glance at the hunters too, gauging their mood, and he says, "I don't know if next time you're on the road, if you head west, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a look into that. Stop by the winery and see what's taking them so long."
I give a nod and say, "Well, I think Vasily's going to be relaxing for the next little bit, so I may have some time, or maybe it's something he's interested in as well. I'll get back to you, and I'll let you know."
I sure would appreciate that, and of course I'd be happy to compensate you for your time and effort.
Always obliged.
All will be well. All right. So you go back to your table, and I think we'll pause it there for now, and then we'll pick it up later when the food comes out and you guys start doing.
Oh, shit breaks loose.
Yeah. And then Strahd fucking Von Zarovich comes in the door. No, don't believe me.
I point at Groth.
I saw a look on Dave's face like, oh shit. No.
I was trying to think of a line
don't
like,
worry.
"What's on the menu today?"
It's not that terrible all the time. Okay, so yeah, we'll stop there, and just for any viewers out there, this is the last session before we take the summer break, so we'll be back again end of August with this campaign. So either end of August or like first week of September, whatever works out for everybody. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah,
always a
good
pleasure.
times always.
And we'll be back next time.